This week on Tech Stuff, whatever day it is that I upload this, we're going to look at what exactly happens after break-in in enclosure. So we've got a Ghost 12 prototype in a sealed enclosure, and it has 0 playtime on it. None at all. So we're going to look at the frequency response in this enclosure with 0 play. We're going to break it in for some period of time, playing music, dynamic, that kind of thing. So we're going to break that in, and then we're going to do the same exact test again with a broken in suspension, not necessarily completely, but a fair amount of break-in. So this is going to simulate what would happen with a fresh sub. You go in, you have it in there. How does it sound? How does it change how it sounds after you've been playing on it for a while and it gets broken in? So first things first, we've got our microphone for our RTA. I'm going to show the display on the laptop showing what's playing here, and we're just going to do a sweep from low to high. Then you can see exactly where it is on the graph, exactly what this response is. We're going to break it in and then compare. This video is brought to you in partnership with GetUpside. If you want to get rebates on gasoline that you're already buying, follow the link in the description below. You get a 15-cent per gallon discount on the first time, in addition to the discounts you already get. So follow that link in the description below. Download GetUpside using that link. Save some cash on gas. I've actually been using it a little over a year, and I got over $200 back in my first year using it. So you can see here we've got the layout for the RTA. We're going to have a maximum SPL. You got the frequency down here, your SPL here, and it's going to show exactly what is going on with this sub. Now you can see here at about 25 hertz it starts to really kick in, and we get just a little bit louder. So we see in our peaks down here around 30, we've got 102.6, so almost 103. We go up to this next peak, we're at 102.7. Go up some more, 103, and then even when we go further up here, we're a little over 103, almost 104. So there is a slight gain, as you can tell from this graph, but we do still have pretty good response around 25 hertz. So I'm going to break this in and do the same test over again and see how it responds after the suspension is broken in. This should level out maybe 1 or 2 dB. It may collectively get a little bit louder. But just to be sure that we get a consistent result with more excursion, because we don't have a whole lot of power on this, I'm going to run it again at a higher volume, and we should get a similar result to kind of confirm this. As you can see here, following the line as the median here, about 105, we do pick up a few dB by the time we get up here. So it's a pretty gradual incline, about 2 dB from the bottom to the top. So I'm gonna get some break-in time, and I want you to comment below how much you think we're gonna gain. Are we gonna gain up across the whole thing, just up here, down here? How much are we gonna gain down here, if you think that's what we're gonna gain? Comment below, and also don't forget to comment about how this test is done completely wrong, because we're in a room, not in a car, it's not an anechoic chamber, and every other reason that you can give as to why this test is completely bogus. Okay, we've had about 30 minutes of playing around Peak Excursion, and we're gonna try both volume levels again, see if we get the same result. So here's the first one. We're going to do the second power level, then we're going to look at the graphs side by side and see what's different. Now that we've got all four graphs, let's compare. Looking first at the low power, there's a few millimeters of excursion. Before break-in, there's a more gradual slope on the low end, and that's because the QTC of the enclosure is higher. Just like the QTS, there's going to be a flatter curve or a flatter slope in your response. Now, after break-in, it did get slightly steeper, and that's because the suspension is a little bit looser. QTC has dropped down some. Then looking at higher volume, where we've got quite a bit more excursion, though it is not full excursion, before break-in, we have a slight slope on the low end, again, that QTC. It is a little bit different than the slope from low power, because we're getting it to move a little bit more. And the slightly steeper slope on the low end is happening with, but you'll also notice that there is a lower response when we have more excursion. With only 30 minutes of break-in time, there wasn't a huge difference, but there is some difference in that response. If we had several hours, several days, we should see a more drastic slope. So we'll have a slightly extended response, and then it'll fall off rather than it kind of doing this gradual number. And being a sealed enclosure is where you might notice a little bit more of that low end response, but you also see the less drastic fall off in that response after it breaks in. Make sure you're shopping EMF Car Audio for all of your car audio needs. Check out some of our other videos. We've got hundreds of them. You can get member exclusives by hitting join right there next to the subscribe button and join in the premium group. And I'll see you again in another tech stuff whenever.